We're in the process of the assets of what if. And tonight I want to share with you, and I want you, the reason we've turned the lights out is because I want you to use your imagination. As we share tonight, I want to share a story with you that was shared with me, and I want you to imagine for a moment yourself in this particular situation, and then I'm going to put myself in the position of the person that was in this situation, all right? So I will no longer be Phil, I'll be this particular person, I'll tell you their name in a moment, and I'm going to begin to unpack this particular story of this person's life. So what I need you to do is not disturb the person next to you or be texting somebody else. This is not a moment for you to get distracted. This is a moment for you to think about where you might be in this story. Can we do that? Would that be cool? Yeah. So phones, if they're on alarms, you can get rid of them, you know, or if they're on non-silent, put them to silent now, because we can't get disturbed in this moment. All right, just check it. Make sure it's silent. If it's not, it's $50 in the bin. What's his name? The orphanage.
It'll be 50 cents. The guy now.
50 cents.
How about nothing?
That doesn't hurt.
Because I wasted my 70 cents.
So I want you to tell you a story. For a moment, I just want you to imagine yourself. This is, we find ourselves in a third world country. And in this third world country, there is sand as far as you can see. And every couple of 100 miles, there are little towns that would pop up in this particular country. Now, as you find yourself, it is hot. I mean, it is so hot. You are finding yourself in a place that is really hard to get any kind of relief from this heat. When you breathe in, it's breathing in hot air. Breathing out hot air. You are sweating. The place is so hot. And even the cities, when you get closer to the cities, because they're made of these particular types of brick, they radiate heat. And then with all the people that are within these cities, it's just, you feel like, can I even get some relief? And right in the middle of one of these cities is a house. And in that house is a family that lives there. And in this family, there is a mum and a dad, and there is an older boy, and then there are two younger sisters. Now, in this house, they had servants, and there was probably 30 or 40 servants within this house. And in this house was this servant. Let's call him Harry. And his name is significant in this story because Harry was he was a young man who was about 14 years old, and he managed to get a job as a servant in this house. And the young guy who was in this house, his name was Ollie Raj, right? That was his name. Ollie Raj, we just called him Ollie. I called him Ollie. So, here we go. You ready? Yeah. So I had this opportunity to be a servant in a house. Now, I don't know if you can understand this, but in my culture, to get a job when there was millions of people without jobs, this was something you hung on to. I had to let go of my family. Hundreds of miles away were my family, but I got an opportunity to have a job, to work as a servant. Now, we didn't get money back in those days. What we got was food and education and a place to stay. And I met this boy, and his name was Ollie, and him and I began a friendship. And as we began our journey together in his house, let me describe his house for you. I have never seen anything like this house in my wildest dreams. I have travelled and travelled and travelled in search of food, in search of clothing, in search of a place to stay. And I found Ollie, and I was able to serve in his house. And he said, come and serve in my house. You'll be one of our servants. I'll feed you, educate you, and give you a place to stay. And I said, that would be amazing. Would it be okay if I came and served you? I will serve you, Ollie, and your family for the rest of my life. He took me to his house. I couldn't believe it. As I walked up to his house, I thought his entire house was the city. As I walked up, they had these huge pillars. We were on this dirt road that was leading up to his house. And then as it got closer to his house, I noticed that the dirt, the red sort of orangey dirt that we were walking on that was billowing up all over our sandals, began to change into this kind of cement, hard, fixed pebble kind of looking stuff. And I began to walk on it. It was like cobblestones. And all of a sudden, I began to realise that hundreds of metres from the gate of his house was this sense of like we were different. We had money. And as I began to walk on these hard stones, these cobbled kind of stones, I began to get nervous. And I began to stop every step I would take. And Ollie would grab me and he'd say, "It's okay, Harry. It's okay. Keep coming." I said to him, "I can't do it. I can't go any closer. I'm not worthy of going into this place." He says, "It's okay. I've got you." So as we got closer, there was these huge walls. And along the top of the wall was these great big triangular sort of jagged things. And I asked him, "What are they for?" And he said, "They're to keep the rascals out." And it was like a solid wall. It didn't even have like bricks. It was just like a massive clean wall so that nobody could climb up it. There was no foothold, nothing to grab on. And then there was this huge gate with these two towers and these two men that stood in these towers watching whoever came through the gate. And as I walked through this gate, I began to tremble and sweat as if it wasn't hot enough. I began to sweat even more, thinking, what if they shot me? What if they knew my family? He said, "Harry, it's okay." I said, "Okay, Ollie, I'll keep walking with you." Then as I noticed the pebbles went to these sort of cobblestones, went flat. And all of a sudden it went from like this red and it turned to white. And there was this amazing white, almost this material I had never seen before. It was like a stone with like this sort of fleck through it, and it looked like gold speckles as I walked all the way through, and it led up to this amazing mansion, and it was just green on either side, and there was these fountain things that were spurting water in the garden, and I thought, it was paradise. And I began to realise just how much I didn't have, how poor I was, how dirty I was. And every time I took a step on this white pavement, I could see the dust fall from my feet and begin to dirty the pavement. And I kept bobbing down and trying to clean the dust off the pathway, because I thought, I can't dirty the pathway. He said, "Harry, it's okay. We have people for that." I said to him, "I am one of those people." He said, "Not today, you're not." And I walked up this white pathway, and then there was all these steps. I thought I was going to run out of oxygen just climbing the steps. And we hadn't even got to his house yet. His house was like, I stood there and looked at his house. I could not see the end that way or the end that way, and it was just like to the sky. And I thought, where am I going to be in this house? How would he ever find me again once he let me go in this house? It was like a city. I said to him, "Ollie, you're very rich." And he said, "Yes, Harry. Yes, we are." As I walked up to the stairs, I saw these other people like me. And I thought, oh, good. And I went to go there. He says, "Where are you going, Harry?" I said, "I'm going with those people, with my people." He says, "You're with me." I said, Okay, Ollie." I grabbed Ollie's arm and I just wouldn't let go of it, and I thought, I didn't even care. He was like a sort of going dirty brown at that point as I was sort of spilling over onto him with all the dust in his nice white robes. And I just thought, oh, it's okay. He's got me. I'll be okay. As we walked up to the doors, these servants opened the doors, and I just went, I thought it was amazing on the outside. As I stepped inside his house, there were so many colours, my mind couldn't even tell you what those colours were because I had never learnt those colours. There was amazing golden, silver colours of staircasey things that went to look like the heavens. And as I stood there, I thought, I don't want to go up there. I'm not ready to go and meet God. And so he said, "It's okay, Harry. It's okay." I said, "Ollie, I'm scared." He said, "It's okay. I've got you." I stepped in more. And as we walked in, his dad came, and I thought, I'm dead. Ollie's going to get into trouble, and I'm dead. I put dirty. As I looked back, I could just see my footprints all on the white. Just the dust, pop, 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 pop. And I thought, as I looked at the dad, and he said, welcome, what's your name? And he put his hand out. I had never had someone put their hand out towards me in welcoming me in. It was always to strike me. And I was afraid. And Ollie said, it's okay. Grab Dad's hand. I'm not grabbing your dad's hand, I said to him. And he said, grab Dad's hand. Please grab Dad's hand. You know, I said, okay. And as I took my hand and I trembled as I went forward, I started taking my raggy old clothes and tried to clean my hands. And I tried to take some sweat and rub the dirt off my hands because I didn't want to infect him with what was on my hand. And he said, what is your name? I said, my name is Harry. He says, welcome, Harry. It's good to have you with us. Well, I could have passed out. I thought it was God at that point because I had never been in this place. I thought it was a palace, and it was. It was the most amazing city palace thing I'd ever seen. And I'd only been told about these things. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought I'd ever be in this place. The dad walked away, and Ollie said to me, it's okay, Harry, I'm going to take you to your room. He took me to this room. He said, let's go this way. We walked around, and every step of the way I thought, all I can think about is all the dust dropping off my clothes onto the pavement inside his house. I'm thinking, oh, please dust stop already. And as I went to the room, and he showed me this room, he opened this door that had this big goldy kind of knob thing on it that he sort of turned and it opened. And here was this room, and I said, how many people live in here? He says, this is your room. I said, this can't be my room. He said, it is your room. And over there in that doorway there's some clothes that I want you to get changed into. So I went in and I looked, and I just stood in this room for what felt like 3 days. I stood there just looking around, thinking, where am I? I went into this room, he took me into a bathroom, and he said, this is where you're going to wash all of your dirt off you. We're going to throw out and burn all of your clothes. And here's some new clothes for you. So I went in, and there was this funny little thing on the wall inside this great big room that had like marble in it, and it was this funny buttony thing on the wall that I just kind of stood there for a moment naked and dirty and looked at it and just thought, I wonder what that is, and curiosity got the best of me, and I poked it, and something up on top of me started to wet my head, and so I jumped back in fright and thought, what is it? So I stepped forward again, and for about 10 minutes, backwards and forwards, it was like a game between me and the button. And I was trying to push the button and let this water fall over me, and then I realised what it was. It was a washing thing. It was a washing thing. Now for me, when I grew up, we didn't wash. We didn't know what it was to have clean water. We just sort of, every year we might have bathed. And so here was this moment, and so I stood in there for many hours, pushing this button and washing, until a little while later, Ollie came back knocking on the door, and I yelled out, I'm still in the water machine. And he says, better get out. There's food. I said, what's food? Food! Awesome! So I ran out and I grabbed this what looked like a gown to put on, and as I ran to the door, Ollie was there, I opened the door, and Ollie looked at me and he said, best we go back and put on some clothes. That's your nightgown. I said, you have a gown for night? So I went back inside and he showed me, gave me some pants and some new sandals and a shirt, and then he put this wrappy thing around my tummy, and then we went over to this box in this room which had this big long table with all of this jewellery on it, and he took jewellery and he put it over my neck and he put rings on my fingers. I thought, sweet, I can sell those. And then I thought to myself, where am I? So I went out of that room and he took me into this room that had a table as far as I could see, and it just had food. I thought, I'm going to be so fat by the time I get to the end of this, but it was like an all-you-can-eat buffet, and I thought, I'm going to eat it all, you know. But so I started eating, and then he said, no, wait, Harry. You just need to sit down. I'm going to show you how to eat. over a period of years, I served this family, did amazing things, experienced amazing things. And then one day, as I got a little older, Ollie came to me and said, "It's that time that you leave our home." I had acquired some wealth at this time, and because I had worked so well, he wanted to do well by me, and so he gave me a lot of gold, and I began my own journey. So I left the house. I thanked the family for everything. I couldn't possibly have thanked them enough for everything they had done for me and changed my life. I began to go into the cities, to the highways, and I saw many, many things in my life. And then about 15 years later, I came back to that area and I was walking down this road. Now, I got to know many of the towns, what kind of culture was in those towns, what kind of people hung out in those towns. And as I was walking down this particular road, I came to this intersection and I could see this other man walking towards me. He looked a little older than me. He looked a little bit didn't quite know where he was going, a bit staggering. And as he walked towards me, I was thinking to myself, I can recognise the person's walking. And I thought to myself, no, it couldn't be. It could not be. As I walked closer, he looked up at me and I looked at him, and I could tell. It didn't matter how he looked. I could look into his eyes and I could see that was Ollie. And I looked at him and I said, "Ollie?" He said, "Harry?" I said, What are you doing?" He says, "I'm on my way to the city of Ziklag." And I said, "You can't go there." See, those of you who don't know the city of Ziklag. Ziklag was a place of depression. It was a place where people hung out and lived when they just wanted to go and die, when they had given up on life. It was an entire city that was dedicated to taking all of your dreams, everything that you had, and allowing it to be crushed to nothing. And he said, "I'm on my way to Ziklag." I said, "What are you talking about? How can you possibly want to go there? You have everything." And I said, "You can't go there. You cannot go there." He said, "You must let me pass." I grabbed hold of him and I said, "I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that you don't go to Ziklag." Because Ziklag was a place, we were right at this intersection, and he would have been maybe a day's walk to there. So he was close to this whole place. I looked at him, I said, "What has happened to you?" He said, "Harry, you don't know, but I've had so much wealth, I've had it all, and I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know the purpose of my life." I said to him, "Let me help you. What if I could help you come back from where you are? What if I could give you some of the wealth that you gave to me? What if I could pour my life out for the rest of my life to help you? I will give you whatever it takes to help you because you gave to me. What if I could do that? Please, let me do that for you." He said, "Harry, you must let me go to Ziklag." I said, "I can't let you go." I grabbed hold of him. He fought me. He was much stronger than I was. He fought me and he said, "You cannot go to Ziklag." I said to him, "You cannot go." He said, "I am going. I am absolutely convinced that is where I belong." I said, what if there was something different? What if there was a different town we could go to? Let's go to the other towns on the other highways. Let me show you some of the things I've seen. I said, what if I could show you these things? What if I could take you to a place that was amazing, that you could find yourself again? What if I could take you there? He said, "Let me go." I grabbed him by the arm, and as I held his arm, he forcefully removed my arm and said, "Let me go. This is where I belong." As I stood at that road and I watched a person who had changed my entire life, my entire generations to come in my life, I looked down that road as he walked away. One time he turned around and he looked back at me. And I stood there wondering why. Why would he be so committed to being in that place when there were so many other opportunities? I stood there so long that he faded into the distance until there was a point where he just looked like a dot. And I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll run and get him. I'll just run. So I began to run. As I began to run, my clothes got filthy. Jewellery fell off me and I got more and more dirty as I ran down this road towards him. There was tears rolling down my face and the dirt was mixing with it. It was like mud and sweat was in my eyes. I was trying to figure out if I could still see him as I ran. And I ran towards him and it was too late. He was gone. I fell to my knees on this roadway and thought, why? What happened? What if I could have done some more? What if I could have given him something? What happens if I had stayed in the family? What if I asked myself these questions? What if I could have been a better friend? What if I had given up more and not gone away? What if, maybe Ollie would have been okay? And then I realised one thing, that every single person has to make a decision. Every single person has to make a decision. So that's my story. I want to encourage you guys tonight. I'm going to show you a quick video. Some of you can make a decision in yourself that you are going to be committed to a life of disaster, no matter what anybody says or does. But what if there was an opportunity to change? What if that relationship that you're pursuing is the wrong one? What if that choice of a career or a job right now was a good choice, but you were afraid? What if there are people reaching out to you, but you were just blocking them every step of the way? What if that was true? Imagine for a moment if it could be different just through making one choice. This series that we're doing is about what if. This video I'm going to show you is from a guy by the name of Omaletto. He's an inspirational guy and he's got a video that goes for about 5 minutes. I want you to we're going to leave the lights dark, and just keep it down. I want you to think for a moment. When I first saw this, something within me began to stir up again about opportunity and the lack of, and the desire not to regret, but to do and make decisions in my life that were going to help other people, that were going to change other people's lives. And in this video, you'll see this quick moment, and I want you to look for it. He takes this word, and it's a 3-letter word. You'll see it. I'm not going to tell you what the 3-letter word is. He takes a 3-letter word and he just simply rearranges this 3-letter word, and it changes the whole context of how we live our lives. So I want to encourage you during this series, as you go into your packs tonight, guys, seriously, I don't care whether you're 12 years old or whether you're my age. We can all make a difference. We all have Harrys and we all have Ollies in our world. We have this. We have a choice to make. With all of Harry's fear, he still chose to step forward. With all of Ollie's wealth, he still chose a different life. So guys, let me encourage you. What if things were different? Have we got some sound here? Ready? Oh, you've got sound?
Ready?
We're going to play. Play.
It is not death most people are afraid of.
Kill that light.
It is getting to the end of life only to realize that you never truly lived. There was a study done, a hospital study, on 100 elderly people facing death close to their last breath. They were asked to reflect about their life's biggest regret. Nearly all of them said they regretted not the things they did, but the things they didn't do, the risks they never took, the dreams they didn't pursue. I ask you, will your last words be, if only I hit? Hey, you, wake up. Why do you exist? Life is not meant to simply work, wait for the weekend, and pay rent. No, I don't know much, but I know this. Every person on this earth has a gift. And I apologize to the black community, but I can no longer pretend. Martin Luther King, that man never had a dream. That dream had him. See, people don't choose dreams. Dreams choose them. So the question I'm getting to is, do you have the courage to grab the dream that picked you, that befits you and grips you? Or will you let it get away and slip through? You know, I learned a fact about airplanes the other day. Now this was so surprising. See, I was talking to a pilot and he told me that many of his passengers think planes are dangerous to fly in. But he said actually, it is a lot more dangerous for a plane to stay on the ground. I said, what? Like, how does that sound? Well, he said because on the ground, the plane starts to rust, malfunction, and wear much faster than it ever would if it was in the air. As I walked away, I thought, yeah, makes total sense. Because planes were built to live in the skies. And every person was built to live out the dream they have inside. So it is perhaps the saddest loss to live a life on the ground without ever taking off. See, most of us are afraid of the thief that comes in the night to steal all of our things. But there's a thief in your mind who is after your dreams. His name is doubt. If you see him, call the cops and keep him away from the kids. Cause he is wanted for murder, for he has killed more dreams than failure ever did. He wears many disguises and like a virus will leave you blinded, divided, and turn you into a kinda. See, kinda is lethal. You know what kinda is. It's a lot of kinda people. You kinda want a career change. You kinda want to get straight A's. You kinda want to get in shape. Simple math, no numbers to crunch. If you kinda want something, then you will kinda get the results you want. What is your dream? What ignites that spark? You can't kinda want that. You gotta want it with every part of your whole heart. Will you struggle? Yeah, you will struggle, no way around it. You will fall many times, but who's counting? Just remember, there's no such thing as a smooth mountain. If you want to make it to the top, then there are sharp ridges that must be stepped over. There will be times you get stressed and things you get depressed over, but let me tell you something. Steven Spielberg was rejected from film school 3 times, but he kept going. The television execs fired Oprah, said she wasn't fit for TV, but she kept going. Critics told Beyonce that she couldn't sing, she went through depression, but she kept going. Struggle and criticisms are prerequisites for greatness. That is the law of this universe and no one escapes it. Because pain is life, but you can choose what type. Either the pain on the road to success, or the pain of being haunted with regret. You want my advice? Don't think twice. We have been given a gift that we call life, so don't blow it. You are not defined by your past. Instead, you are born anew in each moment, so own it now. Sometimes you gotta leap and grow your wings on the way down. You better get the shot off before the clock runs out, cause ain't no overtime in life, no do-over. And I know I sound like I'm preaching or speaking with force, but if you don't use your gift, then you sell not only yourself, but the whole world short. So what invention do you have buried in your mind? What idea, what cure, what skill do you have inside to bring out to this universe? Uni meaning one, verse meaning song. You have a part to play in this song. So grab that microphone and be brave. Sing your heart out on life's stage. You cannot go back and make a brand new beginning, but you can start now and make a brand new ending.
So my challenge to you guys is, we can all hang out. We have moments where we find ourselves in zigzag. You can flick them on, Natty. We find ourselves in that place of zigzag. But again, in that, did you pick up the 3 words? Own now. That's what we've got to do. All of us can look at our situations, our circumstances, our family, everything. There's excuse after excuse. So you're on a deck of cards. You can flick them out. The reality is, now, you can change your life, someone's life, now. Let's go into packs. Good job. Woo!